Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You're Getting Effed. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Today I'd like to talk about a company that is near and dear to my heart when it comes to companies that I will never give money to again, that I think none of my subscribers should ever give money to again, and that is a company called Shark Vacuums. You've likely seen these at Walmart, and in many department stores they are very popular, and they shouldn't be, because in my opinion, this company treats their customers like shit. And dare I say it, their website is actually a meme, and I'm going to show you this meme website very shortly. As you can see here, for those who are not familiar, this is a company that makes vacuums. You can buy a $250 vacuum from them, but you could also easily buy a $300 or $400 vacuum from them. And unfortunately, many consumers are under the wrong idea that they're better off buying a consumer vacuum than they are buying a business professional vacuum, like a shop vac, something that you'd see at a business, at a hotel, on a construction site. Because at a construction site, or a business or a hotel, you have to have a vacuum that actually consistently works. You can't have a vacuum that randomly dies 6 months in, or that you have to every 5 minutes, stop using and to rip little pieces out because the stuff isn't spinning, because they need this vacuum for work. A lot of people will get fooled because they have a little pet, like a little Blackberry over here, that sheds everywhere, so they'll think they're better off buying a vacuum that says Duo Clean Power Fins Hair Pro to get their cat hair, or Pet Plus Cleaning Brush Wool Power Fin Duo Vertex Pro, whatever the F, rather than getting a vacuum that's actually going to do its job. Now, this consumer had an experience with his vacuum that was very similar to mine, and we're going to go over this in great detail. They bought 2 Shark vacuums, and one of these vacuums was only 6 months old. Both of these vacuums have a supposedly 5-year warranty, which is going to trick people into believing that because they spend $300 to $400 in a vacuum cleaner, that they're actually going to get good service. However, it says what is not covered under the warranty: normal wear and tear of wearable parts such as foam filters, HEPA filters, or pads, units that have been tampered with, damage caused by misuse, and this seems reasonable until we figure out how they interpret this. The customer had worn out plastic wheels on the front of the vacuum. How this type of thing wears out after 6 months is beyond me. I abuse a lot of the things that I own, but even I have not destroyed the wheels on a vacuum inside of 6 months. Now, he calls them to ask where I can buy this because he cannot find it on his website. We're going to go over why that is in a minute. They say that he has to buy the entire bottom piece. He's like, why do I need the whole bottom piece when all I need is wheels? But fine, fuck it, you win. However, she says, we don't even have the entire bottom assembly in stock. You can't get it from us. But maybe one of the retail outlets you bought it from has those parts. When is the last time that you went to a Walmart or a Best Buy and you were able to purchase replacement parts for your vacuum? At this point, she is trolling, because she knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that the part that he needs is not going to be in a Best Buy or a Walmart. It's very obvious at this point that she simply wants to get him off the phone. At this point, he decided to dig a little deeper. You advertise a 5-year warranty prominently when we purchase this product, which is precisely why people will pay a premium for them. So why are we even having a discussion about me purchasing this part at all when you should be covering it under warranty? And the customer service representative says the 5-year warranty only covers the motor in the vacuum. None of the parts in the part that touches the floor is covered by the 5-year warranty. The little wheels are uncovered, the bottom piece is not covered, and nothing is covered except for the main vacuum motor. Now, the idea of a HEPA filter being a wear part, a brush being a wear part, fine. The wheels are a wear part? Is Shark saying the quiet part out loud that the wheels on their vacuum are so horrible you should expect to have to replace these every 3 to 6 months? Not only replace them, but they won't even have that part in stock for a product that you purchased new 6 months ago? Come on, man. He confirms with the customer service representative that the vacuum that he purchased 6 months ago with a 5-year warranty has no coverage for the part that touches the floor. And she confirmed that what he said is correct. So if something breaks with the part that touches the floor on my 6-month-old Shark vacuum, how do I get it fixed? And she then again explains that we need to buy the parts, and since Shark no longer has them, you'd have to search retail outlets. The customer says, unbelievable, and this should be illegal. So I decided that I would try myself, because maybe this customer is lying to me. I'm sure that Shark has parts to this vacuum, because the vacuums that I purchase have parts available on the company website, as well as at several major retailers. If I check out their website, it's actually not that hard to buy a vacuum. If I go over here, if I go home, I go upright vacuums, I can scroll down here and see a Shark Stratos upright vacuum, because this vacuum is going to take me into the stratosphere. Now, if I take a look and try to get parts for this vacuum, you'll notice that there's nowhere on the page that makes it obvious where I can buy parts. I go over here. So, okay, it's not really obvious. So let's just search for a model number over here, because very often they ask for a model number. I am going to search for the model. I'm going to copy and paste this model over here. And we have parts and accessories up here. Option 1, search. So it says put my model number in here. I'm going to click find parts, and it brings me to this page over here. It's found me a link to the parts for my vacuum. Great. I'm going to click it, and it brings me back to the product page where I can buy a new vacuum, because that's what they want you to do. Their website serves as a reminder that we live in a disposable society, just in case you thought you could get parts and accessories. LOLJK. Psych. Jinx. We're just going to send you back to the product page. The balls on these people to literally send me back to the product page for the website when I go to their fucking parts category. But let's see if we search a little bit harder if we can find what we're looking for. We're going to inspect this a little bit. We have see product details, free shipping, category, upright vacuums, product at the home, price, search again. You have to be memeing me. There's no way in hell. I'm going to try a different approach here because I am a repairman by trade. To be clear, I do not fix vacuum cleaners professionally. However, I have had to fix several of my own vacuums when I was still a consumer and had a consumer's mindset and actually was ignorant enough to purchase vacuums made for the home. So if we take a look at their website over here, we're going to go back again, try parts and accessories. And instead of doing what the website asks me to do, which is put in the model number, which essentially leads me to dealing with the South Park cable company CEO rubbing their titties while they tell me buy a new vacuum instead of buy parts, I'm going to try searching for the exact part by the name. This is called the floor nozzle. So let's search for a floor nozzle and see what happens. So we get 160 results over here for floor nozzle. And as you can see, after I search for that, I will get a bunch of different parts that I can buy. However, I have to disobey the instructions on the website. And again, to be clear here, when you go to the model page for that vacuum on their website, they don't show you parts. All of this stuff is hidden. When you go to parts and accessories, you literally get redirected to the page to buy the next part because you're not supposed to buy parts. You're supposed to buy a new vacuum. Now, very similar to New York City real estate, when you walk down a block in Midtown, every other store is retail space for lease. Every other part on this freaking website is out of stock. Very similar to the experience I had when, again, I was ignorant enough to believe that it was a good choice to purchase a consumer vacuum cleaner. You'll see over here that once we scroll past the vacuums, this floor nozzle is in stock, and this one is not. This floor one is in stock, and that one is not. This one is in stock, and that one is not. This does not even have an image. As you scroll down the website, it's more the same. 2 in stock, 2 not in stock. These are in stock, that's out of stock. I mean, half of the parts in this website are out of stock, and to actually find those parts, you have to fight quite hard. Now, if we take a look at another model vacuum they have, let's see if we could find something for that. This over here is a cheaper vacuum, so I imagine it may have a little bit of a higher sales volume. It's $129. It's also a bit slimmer. So if we take a look over here and we go back to find parts, let's see if we can find parts for the HV200 vacuum. Now, as you can see, when I search for parts for the HV200, I get a crevice tool, a wall mount, a dusting brush, and an under-appliance wand. These are really more extra accessories than they are actual parts, and I get a foam and felt filter kit. This is pretty much the closest thing I get to actual component level repair. Now, let's contrast that to a vacuum company that is not a piece of shit. If I look at the company that I purchased my vacuum from, which is Ridgid, you have a vacuum over here that costs $89. This is a 6 horsepower vacuum. It has a 4-gallon container. This vacuum is fairly high in performance. I own one of these vacuums. I can take this vacuum, I can buy accessories for it, like this kit over here that gives me a wide floor cleaning nozzle. I also have a brush if I want to go over some carpet areas or I want to try and pick up and get a lot of hair picked up. And I have a wet nozzle over here from going over a wet floor. The great part about this is that unlike a lot of cheap garbage Bissell vacuums and Shark vacuums, I don't have to deal with the roller getting filled with hair every 5 seconds. It stopped the vacuum cleaner to rip little pieces out and try to untangle hair and try to use scissors to cut it out. I can actually wait until my session is over. In fact, I could have multiple sessions with this thing before I ever have to clean it because it is a real rugged vacuum cleaner. If you take a look on their website, you'll see that when you go to the product page for the vacuum cleaner, if you're interested in purchasing that vacuum cleaner, it's very easy to buy parts for it. So when I go to the page on Ridgid's website, right under the buy now link, we have a buy parts button. And on the buy parts button, I can get a manual for it. I can also get a complete assembly and disassembly guide to figure out exactly how it's put together. And I could get everything from the blower to a gasket lid to this part for the blower, the washes, the individual nuts. And as you can see, even though some of these parts are out of stock, they directly link me to where I can buy a lot of this stuff so that I can get it from them. And if I can't get it from them, many of these parts are available from other vendors, unlike many of the parts for a Shark or many other consumer vacuums. Now, I know what you're thinking at this point. Lewis, aren't you a hypocrite? Here you are criticizing Shark for not having parts in stock, yet you bring us to the Ridgid site, and sure, it's easier to find the parts there, but a lot of them are out of stock as well. What makes them different? Well, that's a great question. Unlike the Shark customer service people that have taken so many psychedelics that they believe that Best Buy and Walmart have a vacuum cleaner component level repair aisle, Ridgid actually gives you information on distributors you can go to in case they don't have it. So when you click Find a Distributor here, you will see a number of online stores show up if Spectrum Internet ever loads them. People wonder why my videos have edits. F in Spectrum. Okay, try that again. Find the distributor. Here we go. So look at all these different companies they're suggesting you go to if you want to find the parts you need. And it's very easy through a quick Google search to actually find spare parts. So within 5 seconds, I was able to go over here to Carol Parts and find the exact part number that I needed. It does say special order, but it also says they'll get it to you in 4 to 7 days. Which is, again, 4 to 7 days, South Park Cable Company CEO telling you to buy a new vacuum. I know which one I'd rather choose. And again, you'll never have to worry with this vacuum about, oh, I went over 3 hairs, I have to rip the hair out and use a scissor and it broke. You can destroy this vacuum as much as you want. These attachments are dirt cheap. You can buy 4 attachments that do everything you want for $45. And dare I say it, you could use this vacuum for $90 with everything it comes with and do a fine job of cleaning your house. It's $90. I'm very close to actually wanting to buy this one. I carry this thing around with a 50-foot extension cord around the house, but it'd be really, really convenient if I could use this one over here. It's similar in power, but it's just much more convenient to have a backpack vacuum. So this one would actually go on my back, so I wouldn't have to carry it and deal with, like, trying to route the cord while I'm carrying it and all that around stuff and hold it like this when I'm going into slim areas. Again, a little bit more expensive, but still cheaper than the Shark. At the end of the day, I find that I consistently get a better experience when I do not buy products that are designed for the home, but rather I buy products that are designed for a business. Whether I'm talking about a laptop, a vacuum cleaner, or anything else, not only are the products for businesses often better and more rugged, but they're also considerably cheaper. And because these things have to work every single day in a hotel, somewhere else, construction site, they're going to be constructed in a manner where they're actually somewhat rugged so that you don't need to replace these parts 6 months in anyway. How many people here have had a shop vac from either DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Ridgid where the wheels died within 6 months? Raise your hand. 2 million people watching. I guarantee you there's not a single person here who has had that problem. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Just to remind all the people that spam my email inbox with these garbage sponsorship offers, this channel is not brand safe, nor will it ever be. And just to remind you, here's a brief from our sponsor, LG. This here is an LG G3 OLED television. This is in the menu of this television. If you go at any one of the default profiles and you go to privacy and terms, what you'll notice with the smart television is there's an option called do not sell my personal information. And because we live in a dystopian world, this option is not by default checked. It should be the default when you pay over $3,000 for a television that you do not sell my personal information. But even when you pay that much for a television, the default is that they will sell your personal data, which is why you should never connect a television to the internet, particularly when these televisions have microphones built into them that allow them to listen to what it is you say in your living room. There are many other settings hidden in here that talk about being able to see what it is you're watching or what you're doing, to be able to make recommendations to you and personalize advertisements to you if you browse around the television. And 100% of those options is the consumer unfriendly option, and the advertiser grabs your data, sells it, and uses it however they please option. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.